Yes, indeed, there's a mighty big storm coming here in Tucson, Arizona, which is going to make reviewing this brand new BMW X7 a little tricky, because BMW says that this is perhaps the most American BMW they've ever built. Why is it American? Well, to start with, it's built right here in America. Plus, this car has a ride designed for the interstate and not for the Autobahn. Is that true? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that is to take it for a ride in the rain and see just how American this BMW X7 is. We're in the big boy X7. There are two choices. There is the smaller single turbo straight six, and there's this one, the 4.4 liter twin turbo V8. Puts out 456 horsepower, 479 pound-foot of torque, which is considerably a lot of horsepower and torque. Now, before we hit the rain, we were able to actually do some just quick accelerations to show you what this thing sounds like when you drive it in anger. And it is fast and it is fun, especially when you put it into sport mode. There are actually 4 different modes that you can choose from sport to comfort to Eco Pro to adaptive. Of course, the one that we're most interested in today is the comfort, because we're going to find out just how this cruises down the highway. Price-wise, it ain't cheap. This one starts at about $93,500. If you load it up with this massive panoramic sunroof, all the bells and whistles, you're looking at a car that can easily exceed $100,000. But you know what? If you want 7-passenger German comfort in an American-built big-ass crossover, or is it SUV, then you're going to pay for it. And yeah, while it doesn't directly compete with cars like the Escalade, or should I say trucks like the Escalade, so let's take it for a ride. We happen to be right now by Mount Lemmon, so before we take it on the highway, we're going to do a little bit of wet canyon carving to see if it still has that BMW Autobahn DNA before we take it on the highway and see just how plush it is cruising down an American interstate. So how are the Germans at building American-style cars? The first thing that an American-style SUV, of course, is big. And while this is a big vehicle, it's not quite as immense as a Suburban, a Tahoe, a Navigator, or an Escalade. You also get, of course, everything you'd expect in a BMW, which means paddle shifters. You get an 8-speed automatic transmission. You get this massive 13-inch, well, it's bigger than 13-inch display. And of course, you get this, which is a little bit weird. Hey, BMW.
Hello. What can I help you with?
Turn radio off.
Mute on.
There you go. You get voice commands in your new BMW. How cool is that? You also get not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 zones of climate control. So theoretically, I could have my temperature set to 50 degrees while my wife is at 70, while my mom is at 60, while my stepdad is at 40, while whoever's in the back seat is at whatever they want to be at. That's crazy. You want a car to stick like glue on the wet pavement of Mount Lemmon? All you need are 3, 15, 35, 22s. And why don't you throw in some big-ass M-brakes to make it stop well? I mean, that's not a tire, that's a steamroller. It's like that wide. That's crazy. The other really fun thing about this car is that every X7 comes with a closed-loop air suspension. That means basically that there's an air tank that generates pressure, and you can lower the car by 0.6 of an inch, make it easier for the kiddos or the dog or whatever you need to get into the back. The car actually lowers itself. Or if you want to go off-roading, you can actually raise it by 1.6 inches so that you have a little bit more ground clearance. There's also all sorts of options that you can buy. Everything from, oh my gosh, steerable rear wheels. Yeah, that's right, you can steer the rear wheels, to what BMW calls I think it's called the Lounge. That's a short version of it. Basically, it's taken from their Rolls-Royce partners, and it's a roof that has 1,500 different lights in it that you can configure to make it look like the favorite constellation of your or your wife's choice. That's pretty crazy. And now we're talking about a car that's starting to compete with cars like the Range Rover and, of course, the more expensive crossovers and SUVs in the marketplace. What else makes this an American BMW? It's got 3 rows of seating that seat 7 people. That's right, this is, well, it's the German version of a Suburban, I guess. It really doesn't compete with the Suburban, it's just not big enough, but it is about 9 inches longer than an X5, about 5.5 inches wider, and a little bit taller because it is built basically on an X5 chassis, but once again, an X5 chassis with the double XL size and room. All right, I'm in sport mode. Let's see if this uber-sized X7 still has that classic BMW handling ability. Now, this is the road to Mount Lemmon, and right now, since it's raining down here, it's actually probably snowing up there. So they're saying you're required to have either 4-wheel drive or snow tires. Now, I do have 4-wheel drive. It's rear bias, so this car, even though it's all-wheel drive, drives like a rear-wheel drive car. But we also have, get this, 22-inch tires. All right, so here we go. Got some twisty road ahead. Let's see how this bad boy handles. Oh yeah, that twin turbo V8 has plenty to give. You can feel the weight, but the all-wheel drive system is mitigating a little bit of that normal kind of heavy front plow you would get with such a big engine ahead of the car. Steering is heavy, not precise, but definitely heavy. Maybe the best word is muted. So yeah, it's by no means an M3 or an M2, but it's no big ass whale either. So now that we've done a little bit of wet canyon carving, let's find out if this BMW is really good at where American crossovers and big ass SUVs shine, and that is on the highway. Because let's face it, American luxury is all about going 1,000 miles in a straight line. It's based on SUVs that are really trucks underneath. This, of course, is a crossover, so it's not body on frame, but unibody. So have the Germans figured out how to do American highway ride? Only one way to find out, and that is to take it on the interstate. So now we're getting on to Interstate 10 here, which is going to take us all the way to Phoenix, and let's give it a try. Let's see how smooth this is. Once upon a time, American luxury was defined by just how smoothly and easily and painlessly a vehicle could go down the highway, could transport you in utter quiet and luxury down America's interstate system. So I'm gonna turn on cruise control, and luckily BMW has a system in place that allows the car basically to drive itself. So what I can do is I can take my hands off the wheel. Let's see how long I can do that for before the car starts yelling at me. Oh, little yellow lights are coming on, telling me to put my hands back on the wheel. So not very long, probably long enough to scratch my head or maybe get a drink. Of course, we have proximity distance control as well. Now you may be thinking to yourself that a 4.4 liter twin turbo V8 is a lot of power for a car, but think about it. The Escalade comes with a 6.2 liter V8. So 4.4 liters that puts out about 450 horsepower and powers all 4 wheels. That's very American. That's very double XL. The cool thing is this car will also change lanes automatically. So it knows when there's nobody next to me, and all I have to do is, check this out, signal twice, and look at this. The car just changed lanes without any hands on the wheel. How cool is that? Now, a lot of cars, of course, do that. This isn't the only car in the business that does that. But nevertheless, I remember driving my dad's Lincoln Continental, thinking just how quiet and supremely comfortable that was. And if I told him back then that there was a car that could actually drive itself down the road without hands on the wheel, change lanes without hands on the wheel, he would have been floored, as quite frankly am I. Now, of course, there's a price to pay for having a big double XL German Autobahn, or in this case, interstate cruiser, and that is fuel economy. This V8 is rated at 15 in the city, 17 combined, and 21 on the highway, which is okay. I mean, if you've got 7 people in here, it's okay. If it's just you, probably not so much. But in general, I've got everything I need. Kick-ass stereo, comfortable seat, plenty of cup holders, and semi-autonomous highway cruising. Yeah, I think the Germans are figuring this out. As you can tell, it's getting pretty rainy, so I better wrap this up. Is that the most American BMW ever built? Heck yeah, it's as American as Wiener Schnitzel and apple pie. As always, this is Roman reporting for the Fast Lane Car. Check out tflcar.com for more news, views, and of course, rainy real world reviews. Let's go inside.